Hello, I'm Kerry Shamblin, and I practice Jyotish, also known as Vedic Astrology. I have been offering a monthly forecast since 1999 where I track how the planets are moving through the sky and how they may be affecting our life on Earth. I also work directly with others through counseling, teaching, and mentoring. Hey everybody, it's Kerry with the week ahead look for April 26th through May 2nd. I wanted to just first address a comment somebody made last week, which is very valid. So I'm in the U.S. and we have all these time zones all over the world. So whatever's happening right here in this moment, like for example, it's daytime here. In Asia, it's nighttime on the other side of the planet. So when I'm talking about these keywords for the day and what nakshatra rules the day and what tithi is running for the day, that's actually true for me right here in Colorado and probably in a sense for the rest of the U.S. and also South America. But we're in different time zones and things happen at different times. So the question was, what do I do if I'm in Asia and, my day is starting with a different nakshatra and tithi, which is great. So my best advice is, check out all your resources. You can look things up in your local area and take whatever I say for what it's worth to you. It's not going to be exactly the same for every time zone, and every single one of us has a different chart and karma and all of that stuff. I've had people say, oh, this is kind of dumb, you're just doing this general thing and you should just do it for each sign because that's what we really care about. That would take me pretty much all week, every week, and I wouldn't be able to do anything else. So come and get a reading from me and I'll talk to you about your specific chart. The thing is, and maybe this goes into some of the philosophy of how I use astrology in my daily life. I have never not done something because of what the day looks like. I tend to take a look at things and say, okay, this is my prediction for how the day is going to go. I have this and that to do on my list, and I'm just going to have to get through it, do my best. And that's sort of how I run my life in general, even though I have astrology as a tool. I mean, we can't control anything basically except for our in and out breathing. And so just knowing these things, the whole point of Jyotish is what we call Vedic astrology in Sanskrit. Jyoti means light. Jyotish means the study of light. And the whole idea here is we're just bringing awareness to the energies that we feel going on around us. And that's almost the best we can do sometimes is to be aware and navigate through things to the best of our ability. So, long answer to a good question. All right, so let's look at this week ahead. I would say my keywords on the thumbnail are balance, presence, and planning. Balance is coming in really big for me because of that Kala Amrita Yoga that's going on. When all of the planets are on one side of the nodal axis, it feels unbalanced to me. It feels like we're all leaning to one side. So Mercury is going to change this week into Aries, which I feel like is a stronger position for Mercury. That Kala Amrita Yoga is going to get broken, and the full moon's going to peak on Friday, which makes me feel like we're getting more insight into things, and that way we can change what we need to change and move forward in the way we need to move forward. So again, here's the three big things. The Kala Amrita Yoga pulse that we've just experienced is going to break out Sunday, Monday, essentially. Feels like a really breaking out energy. And then we've got Mercury changing signs, and that will be on Wednesday. And that breaks up that energy in Pisces a little bit. So last week we had that triple conjunction of Mercury and Mars and Saturn all glomming up together in Pisces. And by the end of the week, right now, it seems to have started to dissipate somewhat. Mercury moving into Aries will really break that energy up. And that also leaves Saturn and Mars alone in Pisces, which I always call driving with the brakes on yoga, because Mars wants to go and Saturn wants to brake. So that feeling of pushing and pulling, if you've had that in your life in any way, it's not going to change this week, likely. But Mercury leaving the grouping could make make you able to instinctively move forward rather than overthinking everything, for what that's worth. Okay. And then the other big thing is the full moon on Friday, in Libra. So, okay. Sunday and Monday, I'm just going to give us a general overview, and then I'll click through each day to show you. The moon is going to be moving past Ketu. As you can see, this is Sunday. Moon and Ketu are right there together at sunrise here in my location. And moon will move past Ketu on Sunday and Monday, and then move into Virgo, which totally breaks that Kala Amrita Yoga. When the moon is out of the same sign that Ketu is in, it's totally broken. That's Sunday and Monday. It could feel like liberating. It could feel like, oh, wow, I have another perspective to my situation. Last week could have felt like, a twist of fate followed by a twist of fate. And do I have any control over anything? So braid those twists of fate into a rope, and then use that rope to pull yourself forward this week. That seems like the energy of like, we're going to be able to move forward a bit. All right, then Wednesday, Mercury moving into Aries. I think that's going to bring clarity, some agility and initiative, and where we may have felt stuck or lost or mired last week. Mercury in Pisces was also in that exchange with Jupiter, which I think was helpful. Thinking about Mercury in Pisces, that is a debilitated Mercury. And it was very dominated by the push and pull of Saturn and Mars. Mercury rules communication and exchange. And when it's debilitated, it's hard to get the words out. It's hard to analyze all of the factors. But Jupiter in exchange with Mercury during that time was helpful. That's a plus. Then Mercury going into Aries, I feel like that's a whole new scene. Where Mercury's going to have clarity, getting closer to the sun, it's going to be in Mars's fire sign. We're going to be able to get some precision and momentum and be able to confront things that are difficult a little bit more than just managing them. I think that was last week's theme. We're just managing these difficulties and trying to get through them. Where Mercury going over into Aries, I feel like is going to make us be able to think faster, walk faster, and move more precisely. Okay. And then I'm gonna skip forward to the full moon in Libra. There's a lot going on with this full moon in Libra. What it really brings to my attention is, from this current configuration, how many planets are actually aspecting Libra. So all of you Libras out there, hang tight. You've got this. Our attention comes to Libra because of the full moon, but in reality, Rahu is aspecting Aries right now. So is Mars. So is the sun. And so is Jupiter. So there's a lot of energy and attention going into one place. And the Jupiter thing is great. I would say that's a good guiding force. The Rahu energy is a little unstable and chaotic. Mars and the sun beaming into Libra is very fiery energy, very controlling and directed energy. So just knowing that this week, all of those planets are still going to continue aspecting into Libra. What else? Yeah, so I just feel like there's potential with the moon gaining its complete strength in the full moon by Friday. Like that Rahu energy could be unstable but adventurous. The Jupiter energy from Gemini could be wise but a little bit anxious with the Gemini energy. The sun in Aries is really strong. Watch out for somebody who has a really strong directive purpose trying to interfere with your inability to make a decision. So protect your own mind this week. Keep your own perspective. Don't let somebody else push and influence you too hard. All right. The other thing is the sun in Aries. Like that's kind of who I was just talking about. It's a very good guiding light, and it gives us strength and courage and vision as we begin new things at this time. Venus in Taurus is great. It's a planet in its own sign. It's grounded. It makes us care about things. But also through this week, as Venus advances, you can see that's 8 degrees 37 on Sunday. Saturn is up there at 14 degrees 25. By the end of the week, Venus will have advanced enough that Saturn is going to be exactly aspecting Venus. So Venus in Taurus is grounded and stable. Saturn from Pisces aspecting the Venus by the end of the week. That could feel almost like a building pressure throughout the week. I think of Venus as yes and Saturn as no. And I'm talking about balance this week. So inside of yourself, that might be a battle you're fighting, is you want to say yes to something, but you're feeling no, or vice versa. That might be an internal pressure valve you need to attend to this week. Tuesday and Wednesday, just want to point out that the moon gets into Virgo. And that's fine. But it's also good. Virgo is getting that direct aspect of Saturn and Mars and Mercury for a little, Mercury's moving on Wednesday. But Saturn and Mars are really beaming into Virgo. So when the moon goes through that sign on Tuesday and Wednesday, again, it could feel like that pressure, the feeling of should I stay or should I go? Do I want this or do I not want this? Should I put the resources here or not? It could be a little bit of a feeling of indecision. That feeling could continue as the week goes, because I'm just going to be honest, Libra is not the most decisive sign. So Thursday and Friday, the moon gets into Libra. We see all of those aspects coming in. That sounds like a lot of voices trying to influence our thinking. So find your practices, ground yourself, look inside, figure out what you want, and then find the way to diplomatically express that to the voices coming at you. Because, it might be just tough to maintain that balance with relationships and business dealings and all of that. All right, so that's my overview for the week. This chart is showing Sunday, April 26th, and as I said, the moon is just approaching Ketu. If you're tracking the direct or retrograde motion of the nodes, you're going to see that Rahu and Ketu are direct at the very beginning of Sunday morning, the 26th. Sometime in the day, they're going to go retrograde and stay that way for the rest of the week. That feels like business as usual for the nodes. Okay. And, oh yes, I have to tell you the details. So the moon is in Magha from this chart in this morning. And this is the first little section of Leo. And we've been talking about Ketu moving into Magha. And it's solidly gotten there by this point. And this looks like a good day for connecting with nature, asking those above you, your parents, your authority figures, your leaders for something. If it's the day you need to write to your representatives in the United States, make it Sunday. What else can we do? We can fast on this day. We're moving into Ekadashi on that day. Fasting, creative pursuits, doing a little socializing, taking care of yourself. Those are the ideas for Sunday. Natural connection is the key word. Just natural connection, the first thing I said. Then let's flip over to Monday. Monday is, so again, back to that really good question. Like, what if the nakshatra is on in a different spot in my sunrise? Well, the first part of this week, we have that. Like, the nakshatra is something at sunrise, and then it quickly changes before noon, like all the way up to Wednesday, and the tithi too. So I kind of had to juggle two different scenarios for each day. So we're at Purva Falguni into Uttara Falguni on Monday. This is a good day for partnership, for union, again, creative projects, buying things, purchasing things. Relational harmony is the keywords for Monday. Relational harmony. Purva and Uttara Falguni are very much that way, that energy. Let me switch you. Hold on. I almost ran ahead without giving you the picture. All right, so we're at Tuesday now. By Tuesday, the moon has solidly moved into that Virgo. No Kala Amrita Yoga for a minute, where it's kind of giving us an outside perspective of our situation for this next week or 10 days. Yay. That's great. Okay, so Tuesday, we're moving from Uttara Falguni Nakshatra to Hasta Nakshatra. And this is a good day for repairing things, for fixing things, for, again, crafting or creativity, gardening, getting your hands dirty, learning things, errands, regular everyday stuff. Also things like self-care related, medical treatments, massage, skillful healing. That's our words for Tuesday. Skillful healing. That's it. Okay, Wednesday, moon is still in Virgo. For the most part, I was just looking at Hasta for Wednesday. And this is also the day that Mercury is going to move into Aries. This is a good day, Wednesday, the 29th. Good day for litigation, skill-based work, more self-care and wellness stuff. If you have medical appointments or you want to do something nice for yourself, Wednesday is good. Good day for shopping and transactions, negotiating, all those things. Wednesday's words are precise communication. So slow down, figure out what you want to say, take your time, and be precise in your communication and all of the things you end up doing on Wednesday. It's good to be slow. Okay, Thursday, Saturn is, again, getting really close to that Venus aspect. Look at Venus's 13 degrees 28 on Thursday morning. This is the 30th of April, the very last day of that month. The moon is waxing. Oops, look at you guys. I'm sorry about that. The moon is waxing, and it's gotten into Libra. So Thursday and Friday are the days where the moon is going to be in Libra. Again, the Jupiter, the Sun, Mars, Rahu, all aspecting into Libra. It just feels like a lot of energy. So Thursday and Friday could feel busy or overwhelming a little bit because of all of that energy. Plus, when the moon is waxing and getting into the full zone, we can get really emotional. We can get a little manic. So again, slow down, take your time. Thursday, the moon is going to be mostly in Chitra Nakshatra. Again, really good for designing and building, improving your appearance, maybe getting a haircut, fixing your hair, cleaning and clearing things out. Creative construction are my keywords for Thursday. Creative construction. And then let's just move to Friday. Friday is mostly Swati Nakshatra, and the moon gets full on Friday. In my time zone, mountain time in the US, it's going to be just around noon that the moon gets full. So we won't actually see it. It's on the other side of the planet. And then just especially with the Jupiter and Mars aspect into the moon, I'm getting this like completeness and fullness and actually abundance. The feeling of that, the pearl that forms around the irritated piece of sand, like it actually makes this beautiful thing. So good day for business stuff, for finding your balance, go to yoga class, why not? You could also travel around and move around on Friday. It seems like a good day for that as well. And building a bridge, just finding that balance, dynamic balance. That's my keywords for Friday, dynamic balance. So as we enjoy the full moon and that feeling of things reaching a culmination, for just a moment while then it ebbs away. That's the thing for Friday. Dynamic balance. Find the balance between presence and planning. Those were my keywords for the whole week. This idea of being in the moment and just enjoying what we have, but also knowing that we have to walk forward. So to find that balance of not being too distracted by future plans, such that you cannot enjoy the beautiful thing that's right in front of you. That's your job for Friday. Find that contentment. All right, Saturday is the 2nd of May. Moon starts out the day in Libra, moves over into Scorpio, which I feel like Saturday is going to be interesting. We're a feeling of like, we're all jazzed up from that full moon energy. This is Vishaka Nakshatra. Again, more creative work, strategic planning, starting new things, researching details, improving your house. I think the day is going to start off strong with all of that stuff. But then the moon will move over the Libra line into Scorpio, which is quickly going into the degree of debilitation for the moon. 3 degrees Scorpio, the moon gets debilitated. So even though it's bright just after the full moon, there's that feeling of a sink coming. So watch out for that next Saturday. By the end of day, you might start off strong and then kind of drop down. So let's keep the words visionary purpose in mind for Saturday as our keywords. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you watching and commenting and all of the things, and I appreciate it. Thank you so much. So keep in touch and let me know how you're doing. I'll keep doing my thing, and we'll move forward. All right, take care. Bye. Thank you for listening to this presentation. If you are interested in following my work, look for Kerry Shamblin Astrology on YouTube, Spotify, Patreon, Facebook, and Instagram. My monthly forecast is published in written and audio format on my website, planetaryinfluence.com, where you can join my email list or book a one-on-one session with me. My goal is to light your path toward a joyful and liberated life experience.